Hey everyone, Tim and I are going to be talking about game design and what makes the game Islanders cool. You might be watching this on my channel or on Tim's channel or, I don't know, on some pirated site where you get the best content. Let's figure it out. Why is it successful? Why is Islanders successful? What can you show us?
I'm excited too because I've talked to Jonas plenty of times. Jonas has a fantastic YouTube channel, which anybody that has not seen Jonas's YouTube channel, please check it out. He's one of the developers at Grizzly Games, and he is one of the people that worked on this game. And ever since this game came out, I have been super excited about it because, one, it took something that's like a city builder and it just kind of wrapped it into a cool, tight little puzzle package. But two, the game is just, I can't stop looking at it.
It's pretty sweet. Can you fire it up? Can we have a look?
Yeah. So,
and maybe what we're doing, and while you're getting cracking into it, if you're watching at the moment and wondering what's going on here, we'll play the game, have a look at the first 5 or 10 minutes experience and just sort of pick apart the design of it. Maybe also come back to the marketing materials, look at their videos, and just sort of, we want to know why it stands out compared to other games so that you can learn from that yourselves and make your games more awesome.
Totally. Okay.
And full disclosure, I haven't seen the game at all or played it. Just like a minute of Tim saying, here's a cool game, and me saying, don't show me any more. Let's do it on camera.
So I haven't played the game either yet, but I've watched 100 YouTube videos of this game, which is interesting. So this is the first literal 10 seconds of me playing it. And I can tell you right away, one thing I love is that the menu just pops away and this is the game. Yeah,
it's smooth. This is very Web 2.0 made on the Mac. Nice rounded corners. Yeah. Someone with a user interface degree, I think, has made this game.
Well, there are a lot of subtleties too, like, and I think it just matches the design. Like one of the things I'm doing is I'm dragging with the mouse. Now, most developers, because I play a lot of games that are in progress, most developers would have a 1-to-1 ratio when you move, but there is an acceleration and deceleration to the camera here too.
So there's a nice game feel just for moving around.
It just makes it beautiful, and then Q and E can rotate, and it's got acceleration on that too. It just feels solid. And you see these little tips? They're just they're keeping track of what I'm doing, and they're telling me how.
So it's generally, this is the tutorial. I really like games that treat you like you've got a brain, and they're not like, welcome, you can use the X key to move. It's like I know that. Like it looks like it's just saying fiddle around, and by fiddling around, you've done what you needed to do.
Well, you know what's so cool too is the UI design of this game is so good that you can't not get it. Like, Rick, what do you think I should click on right now?
There looks to be one plus button, I'm guessing.
Exactly.
So when I look around, I see two weird guys on either side. I don't know if that's a core part of the gameplay, but they're two floating heads. Maybe they're the gods. That's a joke about us anyway. And there's a score 0 out of 20. Okay, I'm at the start, and there's 20 to get to. There's a goal straight away. So immediately I know I need to get 20 of something. I don't care what it is, but it's 20. I'm excited by it. And then, there's a plus. I think Seth Godin calls that the banana. There's one thing to do on a page. There's one thing. There's no confusion. Click the banana.
Yeah.
So,
and I think in the marketing world too, like having one specific call to action has been proven to improve your conversion rates, because the thing is, a lot of games and a lot of marketing pages have 10 million things to click. Woohoo! Go to this. Check out my YouTube. And then it's like they don't do anything because it's just too much.
In 15 seconds, the player has seen a beautiful, pleasing world, finished a tutorial, been set a goal 0 out of 20, and knows exactly what action to take without being told and treated like they're a 2-year-old. It's kind of like, you figure it out, but it's pretty obvious what to do. I like it. That's a really nice onboarding so far. And then we've got a binary decision, like A or B.
Exactly. You click the plus, and not only does the UI disappear, right? So like, get all this stuff out of your way, but now you've got, which one do you want?
I want the lumber. Let's knock some. Farming.
Too late.
I was changing.
I didn't ask you to confirm. So
I have a game design. Sorry to interrupt. I have a game design theory or principle that I think is one of the strongest, best game design principles, which is at all times 2 to 5 choices. You're playing a game, right? You're not trying to navigate through a website. You're not reading a story. So always give us 2 to 5. And they started off here with 2 choices. The minimum to be a choice. If there's one thing like the plus button, not a choice. but there's 2. I really like that, 2 to 5. We'll see where it does that in the rest of the game, 2 to 5.
Let's see if it follows your philosophy. I'm having fun just chilling with the island.
Feel.
It's got such a good vibe to it. The subtle little fog too as you scroll through and you kind of see. It's just beautiful. So we've got 2 options here, sawmill or a lumberjack, and it tells us what each one does. Get a bonus for each nearby sawmill statue tree, loses points for each lumberjack in range. Which, I mean, there's a lot of good things about this too, like the gaining points is in green, the losing points is in red. It's pretty easy to not read this and still know what it does, because you can see kind of at a glance what the pros and cons are. So
get a bonus. It's really interesting. If this was a mobile free-to-play game where people just come along and like, well, I'll give it a look and see how it goes, they want to have some progress and have a win and know what to do. So mobile free-to-play games are often very much scared of someone got stuck. So they make it very obvious. If this was one of those games, it would be like there would be a thing across the screen saying, drag this over this exact spot and then click on this exact button. As a gamer, I really don't like that sort of, here's how to play the game, because it's not a game. I'm just following along. Someone's telling me what to do.
I don't learn stuff well with that either, because I found myself going through those tutorials and clicking the thing, but then I don't know what I did. I'm just like, okay, what did that
exactly
do?
Yeah, the first 5 minutes go by, you've done a lot of stuff, but you're like, how do I do that? But here, because the choice is very simple and it's very obvious where to put it, you're in control, but you're not going to get lost. If you can't figure this out, then you're probably not going to enjoy the game at all. So, the message for young designers out there is don't treat your players like idiots. Make it clear what to do, but don't treat them like idiots. Let them figure it out a little bit.
That's one of my favorite parts too. It feels
that
so
felt
calming.
Nice.
So we talk about UI design too. One of the things I love about this game is the scoring is so clear. Like, I'm not guessing what's going to happen when I place this, right? Like, I can tell how many points I'm going to get for every placement.
And it's right where you're looking. It's not up in a menu up in the top right of the screen. That's often the easier way to do it implementation-wise. Let's just have a box up the top that has a plus. When you scroll around, that changes. But I love that each tree is giving us 1. I'm guessing a tree is worth 1 amount of lumber, and you're trying to maximize or optimize where you put it. That's really cool.
Tree is worth 1. One of the things I love about this game too is like I said, I've literally never played this game. I've never fired it up before we started talking, and I have not had a problem. I right click to get rid of it. Like, they use a bunch of controls that I'm used to, right? It's very intuitive to use. I understand that all of these mean points and stuff like that. I just think it's really easy and interesting to play.
There's really nice contrast as well. The green background and then the yellow over the top, that pops very nicely. It's very obvious what to be looking at. And yellow is a neutral color. It's not saying good, it's not saying bad. It's more matter of fact. You get 1 point for this. And I like as well that maybe later on it'll change, but there's not like a red, a yellow, and a green saying, this is better or worse. It's very binary again, that I just look at all the things and it adds up to 16. So that's the choice I make. Yeah.
It feels so good.
3770. So, you leveled up? That means you get a new thing. Cool.
And then I get a new pack of buildings. So one of the things I love about this game too is I tried to build a city builder, and the reason why I stopped was because I felt like there's a core problem with the city builder genre, and it's the fact of like variance. I feel like a lot of times in a game where you build buildings, usually there's a best way to build buildings. There's a best order, there's a best whatever. What I loved about this, and because the problem with that is not necessarily it's a problem, like you can play it and have fun plenty of times, but it's just that if there's a right way to do something, a lot of times you end up doing the same thing the same way multiple times. With this whole pack system and the way that these buildings work and the way that the islands get procedurally generated, there's a lot of variance there.
Oh, this is all procedurally generated for the islands. Is the first level, I guess we don't know this yet, but is this always the first level, or have we got a different first level to some other person?
We can shut it down and start it up again, see if
well, let's keep going. But from the point of view of making your game have replay value, but also be good for YouTube videos, if it looks slightly different for everyone who's playing it, then there's a different reason for people to play it and make videos about it. That's a big way to have marketing success. is make your content inherently interesting for everyone.
Yeah. You know what I find myself doing? I just kind of realized I was doing it. I hate reading. I'm not reading anything. I'm literally just hovering over all the stuff to see how many
and
points
you're seeing the numbers. So, but where someone else would be like, I want to read every last word of it and min-max the thing. So catering to both audiences. Yeah.
I love that little...
Oh, that's nice. All the little donuts going to where they need to get
9 points.
Did you build a brewery?
I did not. Hopfield statue, so I got a 7 somewhere.
It looks like it just needs land. That's cool. I mean, it's very clear. Build on green, don't build on not green by the colors. Oh, up on the mountain up there. It's the elite brewery with making donuts that go flying into the thing. Then a farm.
These donuts feel great. I love that they're donuts too, because it goes into the donut-shaped little circle.
And where are your resources? There's no... I'm not looking at it saying I've got 15 lumber, 7 iron. I wonder what I can build. It's just... Looks like you're just slapping it down. Again, it's fail-proof. It's idiot-proof, but...
I love the simplification of the genre, though, because what are most city builders and RTS games and type of games like this, they usually have too many. There's like 13 of them, and they're all crazy, and they're all different. You need money and ore and metal and wood and all this stuff. And I think that can take some of the fun out of the game.
Yeah. Or be one or the other, I think. Is it Banished I'm thinking of? That's a city builder type game. You're in the forest, and it's hard, and there's numbers, and people die. But that's the joy of it. It's taking a position and being extreme with that position. If you try to be 2 or 3 things at once, you become nothing. So this game is saying... It's very simple. It's very easy to get a flow on. There aren't a million numbers to look at. It's deliberately being a thing. It's being easy, pleasant.
Well, I think it's spot on with how they designed the game too, with the theme and everything. Because if they would have took a relaxing island theme and then said, "Oh, here's some really complex, hardcore numbers, and there's a timer and everything," like that would just be the complete opposite of what the game wanted. So it just makes total sense when it's very chill too. I
kind of don't know what you're doing at the moment though, to be honest. Maybe because I'm not reading. Sorry, you were talking about chill, but like it just seems to be you're slapping down houses and stuff and making your score go up.
This is the first time I'm playing, Rick. You gotta be nice to me.
No. This is not a criticism on you, Tim. Although to be honest,
I feel attacked. I'm just kind of placing stuff everywhere, but maybe, you know what? I enjoy this process.
Are we going to get to the end of it and it says you put all your stuff down but you didn't get enough numbers? Is this a puzzle game?
I don't think this stops. So that's the thing, is I think that you go as high as you can possibly get with your score. I think if you run out of buildings and you don't make it to the next section, you don't get any more, maybe?
Not quite
sure.
Maybe try that. Maybe slap some things down and see what happens. 11.
Make it. There's a 12. Let's get a 12.
That's a good one. And that thing says 2. That means you got 2 houses. At some point, we'll have to read what that stuff says. +1 for a house. Why even bother if it's only a +1?
Well...
Is there a better spot to put it?
There's a 2. I found...
Maybe the house needs to be near the brewery. That's where I'd build my house.
There you go.
You got a plus? Okay, level up.
So,
farming
there was a plus button. I clicked the plus button, and then I can choose a pack.
Probably we should feed... Didn't you already have farms? Why is there another farm?
I did.
Shaman. Gets a bonus.
Sorry, you're reading it.
Statue. I don't know, it does some stuff. Looks like there's some upgrades and some bonuses and whatever. And then the farming pack just gives you some bonuses, which is cool. I like that.
The one thing I'm realizing playing this now for the first time is that, like, I don't really know what I have. I know what the buildings look like, but I don't really know what they're called. Like, I might remember a few of them, but the experience of, like, getting me into the game, I think, is really, really effective, especially for somebody like me that tends to be I'm an anxious person sometimes, and it helps to, like, have a chill.
Chill's good. That's the goal that games are often striving for, isn't it? Easy to get into it, but difficult to master. So if you can give someone a good experience with, that was kind of pretty good, pretty easy, but oh wow, I can see I've got a long way to go until I'm a master at this, then replayability.
Right.
Can you rotate those things around? Sorry.
I can.
Okay.
I can. Middle mouse. That's another thing. That was the first control I tried too. Middle mouse. I was like, that just works.
Is this game, do you know if this game's on mobile as well?
I don't think so.
Let me look
I think
that
it's
up on my
Steam.
phone. Yeah,
Check that out.
well, that's good because when you try to make the game for both, like it has a very mobile-friendly game. I could see a publisher, an executive saying, we should get this on iOS and Android as well. But then all of a sudden, your nice, easy middle mouse, you might need a button on the screen to rotate stuff, or maybe you can do it with your fingers. Maybe it does translate to mobile very well, but I'm a big fan of picking one platform and making it spectacular at that, rather than trying to cover your bases just in case we want to do mobile one day. Not a fan of that.
Yeah, I think this game is really effective for what it is too. Jonas mentioned that it took him about 3 to 4 months to build this whole thing. It was a team of a couple people.
Is that all?
Yeah, and that's what impressed me the most, because I actually think it worked out to their advantage with this game, because well, I don't know, I can't speak for them, but for me, the longer you give me, the more I tend to complicate things.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, work within the constraints and let the constraints free you, or however the saying goes. But if you look at the art assets, these are pretty basic. Like the ground, the rock, you could buy an asset pack, and you've got your environment in like $100 and a couple of clicks of the button. And then these buildings look like they're custom made. So working with an artist. So far from what we can see on screen, I'm sure there's a lot more, but they're low poly, we're very zoomed out, they don't need to be super detailed. An artist could make, a good artist could make a couple of those buildings in a day. So it's not a massive amount of work. And so far from a gameplay point of view, there's probably a lot going on behind the scenes, but it's more the spreadsheet management of the what do things cost. The placing it is not super difficult. So there's a simplicity to construction, which I quite like.
Yeah, I think it takes what's fun about normal city builders, but just kind of refines them down to a cool little score-based mechanic. So it turns out you can't lose if you don't get enough points to get to the next pack, you lose. But that's...
And do we ever get to another island?
Yes, there is another island. I don't know if you saw, but there was a little thing charging up on the right where if I got enough points, I could move to another island.
I see.
One thing I'm noticing too is I don't have any other options.
About the leaderboard. I like that. Leaderboard's a little bit old school. Oh, new game. That's it.
Yeah.
Simplify. They're like, just get rid of everything we don't need. Just simplify it all.
I am. I'm not very good. I'm number 2.
That's good, man. That's you're 181 in the world. That's great. You're in the top 200. Or did I look at that number wrong?
Wait, which one? I don't know. That's my score.
I know. I'm being an idiot.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. You're in the top 500,000, maybe even top 250,000.
I love how this does this.
That's very cool.
The clouds, and then there's my island.
Oh, and this is totally different looking. Oh, what's all this stuff? Did you just say new game, or is this...
I think I picked a different mode.
Ah.
But if I click this little button here, I think I go to a different island.
Let's go. Free play mode.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I like how it didn't ask you all about what mode do you want to play at the start. It just got you into it.
Yeah.
And is that a loading screen? Were those clouds a really elegant
button,
loading
I go to
screen?
A new island, yeah. So I think that's what it does.
But it's probably generating. Yeah. So it just covers it all up, and it just plays this. You don't even realize it's loading. That's genius.
It's so
you could
beautiful.
be doing that. Yeah, it's clever.
Really great. It keeps me in the mode too. And then when I press escape, this is the main menu again too. It doesn't even go out. So
yeah,
it's just...
it feels continuous. So there's so many lessons to learn just from the way they're handling loading and modes. So new game takes you straight into something simple. You get a good experience straight away. You load something else, the clouds float around. You don't feel like you're coming out to a menu, back into a menu. Very simple in game.
I think it really gels well with the design of the game, the chill, relaxed islander type of deal, where it's solid. It feels relaxing, and I think that's what the game is designed to do. You know?
Yeah. Can we have a look at one last thing before we wrap up? Can we just have a little look at their Steam page or their marketing or their video trailer, just to see what branding they're doing? Why would someone look at this and go, I'll give that a shot?
We want to make sure you can make an informed decision on whether it's the right
It's the same lovely,
so here's
pleasant...
a quick summary of how...
I think, okay, so one of the things that was interesting about this, because I saw this on launch too, is their main trailer on Steam is someone from Grizzly Games explaining the game. It's a voiceover of them explaining the game with this sort of thing. I think it's going to cause some audio issues by playing it over us. But that's a really unique approach. I've seen that a few times now, and I kind of like that over like a quick cut action trailer type of deal. It's just like, this is how the game works.
Because the Steam audience, they're clever gamers. They don't want to be tricked. And I think everyone's been tricked by, here's a cutscene that doesn't look anything like the game itself. And here's someone, you know, kind of putting on their best Sunday outfit. And then afterwards they turn into an absolute slob. Like, well, tell me, give me the realness, show me the gameplay. So that's cool. Talking through the gameplay, explaining it. Here's why you might be interested in it.
I think right off the gate too, like you just look at this page and it's just like, wow, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a beautiful game.
Yeah. And I think the point is that, like, someone might be watching this and saying, well, I don't know if I have the skills to make a beautiful game. That's not me. But it doesn't have to be your point of difference is making a beautiful game. You can make a game which is scary or dark or crazy or, you know, sketches or hand-drawn, whatever it might be, but do that thing and do it to the extreme. Like, this game is trying to be pleasant and relaxing, and it's doing everything to the extreme, right down to the user interface, right down to the, you know, the way that you load. So it does that really well. Whereas another game, Crusader Kings 2, like, that's all about, we want to be the hardest mess with your brain game in the history of games. So everything supports the complexity of the game right down to the user interface and what you can see.
Yeah, 100%. And I think too, playing to your strengths a lot of times comes in handy. Like, a lot of people will be like, oh, that game, their graphics are beautiful, so I need to make a game where my graphics are beautiful. But if graphics are not your strong suit, you can either bring somebody on to do that, hire somebody, buy some assets, figure it out, right? Or you can focus on what you are good at. Like, if you're really good at design, if you're really good at mechanics, if you're really good at whatever, like, if you make a part of your game so good, and it, like you said, it's so true to the vision, I think that comes through.
Yeah. Yeah, it's inspiring. This, you said a few months, a few guys to get it to the point where it's, you know, a really good game. It's had a lot of success. You look at all the reviews there, overwhelmingly positive. So yeah, clearly it's a good role model for us to use as how to succeed as an indie game developer.
And it's $5. So anybody watching this that hasn't bought this, you should head over and buy it.
That's clever as well. Like, price it a little bit lower. People don't look at $5 in this instance and say it must be bad. They're like, oh, that's a good deal. So don't be afraid to price your game a little bit lower so that more people get interested in it. Popularity breeds popularity,
isn't it? Because the game is so beautiful that $5 makes it seem like a steal, versus where if your graphics were like iffy or like not on point, $5 could actually maybe cause a doubt in your brain, you know? Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about that, but yeah, I mean, just seeing these screenshots and then like someone immediately explaining the game and showing you this and like real footage, real in-game footage, $5, it's a no-brainer to buy. Yeah,
well, I'm gonna go download it and see if I can get a good score and
see if you beat me. 181.
Yeah. Well, I've let you. That was your first try. You'll improve. You'll improve. I have confidence.
One day.
And just generally, I think we're wrapping up now, but just want to throw out to anyone watching, you guys watching the video at the moment, if you have any comments about this format, let us know. If you want to see more of Tim and I doing the game design, marketing, business review of games, let us know as well. And if you're watching on my channel, go check out Tim's channel. And if you're watching on Tim's channel, then stay over there because it's a good channel.
No, go check out Rick. Rick's got awesome content. Also, if you haven't bought Islanders, I highly recommend you do that. I want to shout out Jonas Tyroller one more time. He's one of the dudes that worked on Islanders. He has a fantastic YouTube channel as well. We'll link that in the description. It's a fantastic game. I would love to hear from you guys. What do you think made this game successful? What do you think that made this game get shared as much as it did? I would love to hear it.
Yeah. Awesome. And catch everyone later. Thanks for hanging out with me, Tim.
No problem. See ya.